welcome back to Paris. Actually, this is our first games du jour, so I guess welcome to Paris,
Correct.
not back. But we have found a almost abandoned street. Why? Because these credentials have allowed us into the secured areas that have frustrated so many Parisians. They can barely get into their own neighborhoods.
The gentleman that we met on the train or the metro, forget what you want to call it here.
Metro.
He seemed very angry.
Referred to Paris as being a prison right now. And there's so many streets that are blocked off, and many of the streets that are passable, you have to have a certain pass to be able to drive it. And so there is these games have gotten so big, they upset every city that they're ever in.
There was just somebody, just walking to the cafe to get lunch, there was a woman who you could tell was trying to get home, and she kept saying home.
Right.
And she couldn't get through.
Wasn't having any luck with the police at the checkpoint. But we're having a classic Parisian lunch today. We stopped in.
Plus the bees.
And the bees are here. But stopped in at a boulangerie because I was so smitten by what I saw on the window. And you are having the classic jambon et fromage on a baguette.
Ham and cheese. Pickles. Little. I almost said a little butter, but there's a lot of butter.
But it is so simple and yet delicious,
it's so
right?
Delicious.
Yes. And I have on my baguette smoked salmon and avocado, same thing, just ridiculously good. And this sets up that weird French paradox that we were just talking about. They eat a lot of this kind of bread, white bread, a lot of butter, a lot of cheese, a lot of cream sauces on things.
Our steak yesterday was swimming in sauce.
At least half a stick of butter in what we had. Lots of frites, French fries.
She kept bringing more.
And yet, it used to be there was a book like why aren't French women fat, or why are French women so skinny? One of those. I can't remember what it was called, but it is this weird paradox where you just don't, obesity just isn't a problem in France, and yet they eat this way. It has to be something to do with portion control, probably.
Yes.
But also everything's fresh, right?
Yes.
You can just tell how fresh
it tastes. It's fantastic. Let's talk about the games.
Okay.
Beach volleyball. We thought there was a game today. Turns out it's actually a press conference. So less of a game and more of talking. But we do have rugby 7 starting tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Or is it maybe 2 days?
Oh no, Wednesday. Wednesday.
I lost track of what day it is.
And those games are being played in the Stade de France, which is the biggest 80,000 seat, kind of the home of French sport, which is going to be exciting. We've got some Michiganders.
Aaron Cummings
on the American
from Grand Haven, I believe. Yes, yeah. We've got the interview request in. It's a process here with the Olympic Committee and the Olympic teams. It is somewhat frustrating because we've made relationships with many of these athletes.
And they don't want you to the USOC does not want you to bypass their control.
It'd be much easier just to text them and say, hey Aaron, hey Abby, can we meet up? And no, we have to go through several layers of PR teams.
We have to do it that way. We'll see.
We'll see what we actually do.
Yeah, I know. But so far, this is day 2 for us. We both slept the way you do after you've had a huge time shift. We're both a little jet lagged and didn't sleep nearly as well as we wanted to.
Well, and my body clock is still on the morning show time.
Anyway.
Yeah,
right,
so normally
right.
I get up at 2 o'clock in the morning. I still woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning here. Which
actually, that means you're right on schedule. How'd you do that?
I don't know.
That's great.
I don't know.
I woke up 3 o'clock in the morning, started to read. But that's not my.
Did you really read?
I did. Yeah, I had to decide it might help me sleep, but I don't know that it did. But anyway, we'll be adjusted here because we're going to be long enough. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, and the plus side on my end is that 11 o'clock a.m. here is when our morning show begins at 5 a.m. So I don't have. I told my friends and family I may get more sleep. I may get rid of these black circles under my eyes on this trip. I may sleep more on this trip than I normally do at home.
Hey, the bosses are watching.
Oh,
don't say that.
Don't say. I haven't stopped working yet. Put the sandwich away.
Yeah, exactly. we haven't stopped.
Where's the bee?
I know. Yeah, he's fine.
It's inside his sandwich.
Oh, it is. He's right there. He won't eat much. That's all right. There he goes. All right. Well, so far, though, we're having a great time.
Sure.
Obviously, we're still 3 days away from opening ceremony. But interesting, this story that is developing more and more for you and I. the locals that we're talking to, it really is a double-edged sword. Appreciative of being an Olympic city, but boy, it's a hassle.
Well, and we talked to Frank, the pharmacist, yesterday, who, by the way, is a very proud owner of, how did he pronounce it? Challenger.
Challenger.
Yes, very excited that he owns, that Dodge
Way
product.
to go, Dodge. You know it.
Driving the streets of Paris. But he talked about how he originally thought that he would have to bring in more employees and staff to work during the games, and it turns out that his business is down. This bee will not give up on the sandwich. Is down 15%.
Yeah.
And I think that's what a lot of restaurants, a lot of bistros, cafes are all seeing.
Yeah.
Normally, as you had enlightened me earlier, August is the time for travel for Parisians. So many take off of work and they go on vacation. And most employers said, just take July off
July too. That's how great it is to be French. You can have 2 months off this year.
Yeah, that is their silver lining.
All right. So that's today. We're going to have this kind of chat every day while we're here, though, and it'll give you and I a chance to get caught up on what each other is doing, because our schedules are different too.
Yeah, I think the past 2 days will be the most that we spend together. After this,
I know.
It'll be a WhatsApp conversation.
But it'll always be right here on Games du Jour.